everybody. Hope you're all having a great day. We're really excited to bring to you this one-on-one interview. We have two very special guests today. We have Michael Lucarelli, the CEO of RentSpree, and your very own Jonathan Lickstein from LoKation Real Estate. So Jonathan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself first?
As all of you know, I'm Jonathan Lickstein, your broker from LoKation Real Estate, here to help, good or bad, always got your back.
Thanks. Michael, how about you?
Great. Thank you, Stephen, and thank you, Jonathan. Really a pleasure to be joining you both today and looking forward to chatting. So my name is Michael Lucarelli, the CEO and co-founder of RentSpree. And really, it's been important for us to work closely with agents as much as we can to help them to streamline their rental processes as much as humanly possible. So that's really been our goal, to really enable and empower agents to the extent that they need to work with rental transactions.
Awesome. So again, really excited to have you guys on board today. And we're going to get started with a quick fun exercise. I want you to sell me on RentSpree and LoKation in 30 seconds or less. So Michael, why don't you go first?
All right, pressure's on. So on average, a real estate agent in the US needs to screen more than 6 applicants every year. And that being the case, most don't really have a great tool in place to handle that process efficiently and in a way that minimizes liability. So RentSpree provides a tool that collects all the information needed to thoroughly vet an applicant. It provides instant results, and it's provided at absolutely no cost to real estate agents. So we have a great tool, and it takes less than 2 minutes to sign up and start screening your first applicant. That's my
Jonathan,
time.
you're on the clock.
Boom, tick, pass. So LoKation, we are the brokerage built for agents. Everything we do is circled around and centered around the agent, making the life as a realtor easier, making the profitability of a realtor as much as possible, and offering you all the support that you could ever need inside of a brokerage.
Awesome. So Jonathan, you mentioned making an agent's life easier. With that being said, I think RentSpree shares that same mentality. So what kind of similarities do you see between RentSpree and LoKation? Jonathan, you can go first on this one.
Great, my turn. So RentSpree and LoKation focus on efficiency, on making your life easier, getting the maximum amount of information in a very technology-forward manner. That's exactly what we do here at LoKation as well. So the similarities are a very tech-forward company, very tech-oriented company, focusing on efficiency and agents' time and money.
Excellent, excellent. Michael, what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely echo a lot of the sentiments there. I think we've been really impressed working with LoKation and Jonathan, just seeing how they're not just willing to settle with status quo. They're constantly driving for innovation and improvement, and that really translates to benefit the agents in the most. And I know that they always keep agent success in mind. And so that's something that we try to do as well, to the extent that we can, to just constantly drive for improvement. And we never settle for just what was normal or the status quo or average. We like to strive for excellence, and that's what I see in LoKation as well.
Excellent, excellent. So it's really great to see how we're both having the same synergy. And now, can you just describe to us how you both came into the real estate industry itself? Michael, we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, so I was working in a couple offices locally, and it was really just interesting because I had experience both as a renter and as a real estate professional. And so it was something where I just noticed how when agents would be handling the rental process, it was just highly fragmented, and no one seemed to have answers that really could solve those issues and really get the information that was needed. And so that's really what drove me to get into the real estate industry even more further. So being able to see those kind of pain points and then really wanting to do something about it is what ultimately pushed me to really dive deep into real estate.
Actually didn't know
what
that.
about you?
It's interesting to hear your story, Mike.
Yeah.
So I come with a very unique story. I got into the real estate industry really by happenstance. So I was living in Central America on a little island off the coast of Honduras called Roatan, and managing the only American deli on the island. And I was dating a woman down there who's now my wife. And I said, I want to live here. So how do I make a career out of this? Meanwhile, every day I was schmoozing with a broker and his staff that were located next door to the restaurant. And they came in every day, just eating a sandwich, talking to me. And I said, you know what? I want to try and live here. I need a career. What can we do? And he said, come talk to me. That Friday I started, and that was 14 years ago, how I dropped into the real estate business and just fell in love with it. Engineering to real estate. It was quite the transition.
Very cool.
That's super inspirational, Jonathan. I didn't know that either. That's crazy. I have to chat sometime about that. I'd love to hear more.
Well, so yeah, it's really cool to see that you guys came in from like really separate but really unique pathways here. And as you both know, I mean, this year has been like completely upside down compared to like every other years in the industry. So like, what's your take? Like what things are different this year compared to what's been happening in the past in real estate?
I'll go with that one. So the market has changed extensively. And what that means is really you're working with people more remotely. The consumers are becoming more comfortable with virtual transactions, with virtual showings, the ability to not necessarily be there in person, touch it, feel it, smell it. So we've had to find ways to become more digital and live stream open houses and conduct transactions all completely through electronic signature, especially with those who previously would not have been comfortable, an older generation. They wouldn't be so comfortable with e-signature, and now it's become much more common along the members of public. So how it's changed, the volume right now is tremendous, both on rentals and single family home sales, listings and sales. And just, it's turned and burned. It's an absolute feeding frenzy right now. So it's strike while the iron is hot, where there is a lot of consumer resistance in other years to see what happens politically or what happens with interest rates. They won't get any better than they are right now. It's impossible. And consumer desire and supply is low, but the demand is really, really high. So that's where we are right now. It's an incredible market.
Absolutely.
Are you guys taking any questions about the platform?
Steven, that's Jacob. He's one of our agents here, and he probably has a question on how to get into it.
Hey, Jacob, definitely feel free to shoot me an email. I'll type in my email into the chat, and you can shoot me questions afterwards. Just type in the email here. And Michael, I know it was your turn to answer.
Yeah.
How is 2020 different?
I think like it's no secret that because of what's been going on with COVID and the economy, it's definitely been a time of uncertainty and turmoil. And what I would say is that in times of uncertainty and turmoil, most people see that as something of a bad thing, but the people that really set themselves apart are those that can identify the opportunities that come from that turmoil. And so what Jonathan mentioned about like technology changing and just really processes changing and improving. So this is an opportunity for everyone here to set themselves apart. For example, people that really weren't on the forefront of adopting technology like e-signatures or virtual showings. If you were someone that adopted that coming into this was a great way for you to set yourself apart by leading the forefront and being able to offer those types of services to clients. So that's a great opportunity that you can use to set yourself apart during this time. And so I think it's really gonna allow the cream to rise to the top and seeing who can really rise to the occasion and ensure that they're providing optimal services and optimal really value add to clients during this time. So I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of people who are really willing to dive in deep and really apply themselves and put forth that effort. I think that effort will be rewarded more than ever now.
Absolutely. Now, when you guys were growing the business, both RentSpree and LoKation, what was the biggest challenge you faced when trying to grow the business?
I don't mind going first on that one. So the challenge is always industry adoption and engagement. So when we first started LoKation, 100% was not necessarily the widest acceptable commission structure. And certain companies were running as 100%. However, when you get 100%, you were expecting not to get any support, any oversight, any compliance, any help whatsoever. And so some of the struggle has been for us dispelling the myth of a 100% real estate company and showing agents that we're going to give you more than you would at a retail office. You're going to get more benefits, more bang for your buck, more support, more guidance, more education, and you still get to keep 100%. So it's been educating not necessarily the public, but educating realtors that there's more than the typical 100%.
Michael, what do you have to say to that?
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, and it's definitely a really good way to go about, differentiating and setting yourselves apart. I think that's a great thing, and I think for me, one of our challenges in growing our RentSpree and our business is just really making sure that we're surrounding ourselves with the team that can execute and achieve that excellency and really go above and beyond. So really, like, what makes or breaks a company is really the people that are involved with it and the partners and the relationships that you have. And so we've been really fortunate in identifying individuals who can work with us on our team that are high performing, can really put forth the best effort, and also by identifying partners that share that same high level of quality, which is why we've really enjoyed working with LoKation and all of the agents within the brokerage as well. So by really building a network of high quality individuals as part of our team and our partners, I think that that's been something that it's not so easy to get that right, but when you can get that right and surround yourself with those types of individuals, that's going to elevate everyone exponentially.
Absolutely. And what's been like the most effective marketing strategy for each of you guys when you're trying to grow the business?
Michael, you want to hit that one first?
Yeah, I can take that. So for us, the most effective marketing strategy is really focusing on providing as much value as possible to our end user. So like before we even start thinking about how we make this available or get into contact with new agents who might benefit from our service, we're first and foremost making sure that we have our finger on the pulse of what agents are looking for, what they need, what their current process is, what their pain points are. And so even before we had went into this, it was beneficial for me to be working in those real estate offices that really didn't provide any tools to understand what agents were doing when they weren't given the right tools to complete the job efficiently and easily. So being able to understand those things and making sure that we're interviewing users constantly to get their feedback and seeing what features that they might like or what kind of things might help their business. That's been, I think, probably the most effective thing and the most effective tool in our tool belt to be able to really have an effective marketing strategy and put forth an offering that people will benefit from the most.
Single most effective marketing strategy, I can't say there's really anything. You can't, and just like the life of a realtor, you can't advertise one way and expect to be successful. You have to hit people in different angles with different selling points and different real propositions, value propositions. So for us, it's been finding effective ways to digitally reach people, to expose our business and the benefits of our company without even speaking with them. So multiple places in efficient avenues through digital methods, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. So when you win the customer, when you win the client, how do you nurture them? How do you keep them? What's the retention? How do you do that?
It's all relationships. I mean, this is a relationship-driven business, and that's why these iBuyer companies coming in won't be able to eliminate the realtor. Many businesses and technology companies, software development companies have come in saying, there's this gigantic billions of dollar industry that we want to go and insert ourselves in, and let's eliminate the realtor. Realtors make too much. Realtors don't do enough, and they really don't understand the value of a realtor. We're the experience, we're the guidance. A computer cannot replace the conversation and the settling that a consumer has after speaking with a realtor about the process. A computer can only analyze the numbers. It can't analyze how fast somebody needs to move, so you need to adjust accordingly. They'll never be able to be the personality selling the property when someone wants to physically walk through. You look at Amazons, for example, that do online shopping. Selling a product is one thing, but when you're selling a home, you're not selling a product. You're selling a lifestyle. No technology will ever be able to change that. So a realtor needs to focus and nurture their client base with relationships, with human touches, with value propositions to the consumer on what your true value is. If you can demonstrate that, success is the moon in real estate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that definitely like some great points there, Jonathan. I would agree with that completely. There's just certain things that are not going to be able to replace. And even just when I have just conversations with business partners and clients and users, I mean, oftentimes it's not something that just goes right into the nuts and bolts of what we're really there to discuss, but oftentimes it's just checking up on how their family's doing from what I heard, or how their vacation went that they recently had, or just seeing how they're doing. And those are often the things that people remember the most. And that's where I think like a lot of time is spent. And that's what really keeps you connected with clients. So that's what I think is like really important in terms of nurturing the client base. And then on top of that, I do think that it's a service industry. And so providing the best service possible, there's a tremendous amount of value add that agents can provide, as Jonathan outlined, that go well above and beyond any kind of algorithm can provide. And so focusing on those value add services and where value is being brought, there's a lot there. And so that's something that also sets it apart and nurtures the client base effectively.
Yeah, that's a great point, Michael. And you know, one of the things about providing value is that you have to keep a pulse on what the consumer wants. And that leads me to my next question. So I know we're always working on exciting updates. So Mike, I want to start with you. Do you have any exciting updates on the RentSpree side that you want to announce?
Yeah. So as Jonathan also mentioned, it's important to be looking into what tools that we can be adapting to conduct business and what's been coming into something that's now normal these days. And so RentSpree has recently released a feature based on feedback that will allow agents to essentially get their transaction documents for a rental fully signed and completed directly online. And so now not only can you get an online application, credit checks, background checks, eviction histories back instantaneously, you're going to be able to also generate lease documents and send them for signature to be fully executed all in one place at one time. So it really allow agents to compress the transaction timeline from something that took days and weeks down into hours and minutes. So this is something that we're really excited to offer. And so that e-sign feature, which will allow you to get those documents executed online, it's available at no cost to agents or anything like that. So it's a really great tool that we're really excited to partner with LoKation and offer that to the agents.
Yeah, we're super excited about that. Jonathan, do you have any updates on the LoKation side to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're always looking to innovate and do different things. A few new partnerships that we announced. We do set up a lot of strategic partnerships like the one with RentSpree, which is to give agents more value for what they're getting. There's a new resource we provided called Cole Realty Resources, which allows agents to prospect and pull contact information for anybody in the United States. And that is based on property address, locations, demographics, email addresses, phone numbers, cell phone numbers, all kind of looped into one. So giving them kind of an additional value add there, something they could get on their own at a cost of approximately $1,000 for the year, where at LoKation we're doing it $30 a month. So $360 for the year. That's more than a 60% decrease off of retail. So just offering more benefits to more agents. Additionally, we opened a real estate school last month, again, using the same kind of value proposition, more value for less money. You get more out of it. So offering an online solution for our agents to do continuing education, to further their industry experience by upgrading from a sales associate to a broker associate, getting more education on that platform. And just like anything we do, it's that ease of use online. Very, very simple, nationally recognized portal that guides you through the process. So making it easier for agents to get in the market and making it easier for agents to get better in the market.
It's really great to hear that you guys are focused on the educational aspect there. Going alongside that, what's the biggest strength of both companies here? What's the biggest strength of LoKation, Jonathan?
Definitely the ability to adapt. I mean, you think about when the pandemic hit us, and as a world, not even a state, not even a country, as a world, and the overnight change that had to be made in the real estate industry to still conduct business. Everything LoKation does is cloud-based, it's online-based. So whether our building burns down, God forbid, our building burns down, or the world goes through a worldwide pandemic, business must go on. You have the tools, you have the resources to be able to conduct business both virtually and digitally through electronic signature type things like what you guys have done. You've pivoted. That's the ability that we have as a company as well.
Excellent.
Yeah,
What about RentSpree?
Yeah, I would echo on that as well. And real fast, Jonathan, how are the agents able to, what's the best place for them to go to enroll in like the classes in the schools that you guys said that you're offering now?
Yeah, so the real estate school is LoKation, reschool.com. And it's all done through there. Just like anything else, I keep saying is the value for what you get. Our educational offerings are roughly 40% less than any other real estate school you'll find locally.
Yeah, I think that's huge. That's huge. Yeah, and so for us, I would say that the biggest strength of RentSpree for sure is definitely like the constant drive to improve as well, and like really never settling. So I think like if you're not improving constantly, then you're falling behind, because guess what? Everyone else is improving. So for us, looking to constantly drive that type of improvement with new offerings, and I think that's really important, and making sure that we're educating ourselves and improving our skill set. I think that's the biggest strength.
Excellent. And now what about the current rentals market? What's your thoughts about that? Can we see an uptick coming, or how have you seen it over the last couple of months?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you see a higher volume of rentals coming through right now, but think about the future. What's going on right now between tenants who are being, the moratorium on evictions, the moratorium on foreclosures. When all that comes up, there will be foreclosures. There are people that are going through forbearance that won't be able to recover. So that's going to be an increase of properties on market. It's going to be an increase of people who can't buy a home, meaning rentals. And the people that are being evicted, there will be some relief from that, I think, from the government, as far as waiving that or getting things removed if they can prove some type of COVID deficiency. But either way, there's going to be an uptick of tenants coming on the market. And even more so, when those properties become vacated, there's going to be an increase of landlords looking for tenants on the market. So I see that in the next 18 months being absolutely huge.
Yeah, that is, I would definitely agree with all of that, Jonathan. And earlier this year, we saw the largest single month jump of the unemployment rate, just because of all the people that might have lost their main source of income, which is really unfortunate. But it gives you a little bit more context as to why you might have all these people that they might be defaulting on rent, or they might be defaulting on their mortgage. And so you're going to have a lot of these people that maybe they're defaulting on their current mortgage and they end up having to rent, or they were saving up to purchase a home, but they've had to dip into their savings for a down payment now. And so that those funds may be depleted. And so that's really going to encourage more people to be renting. So obviously we want to be still cautiously optimistic, but still, being aware of what's going on in the trends and being really getting ahead of it a little bit and preparing ourselves for working with rentals and renters. That's going to be something that really helps. And when you see all these people that might have lost their main source of income, that means that vetting them is also now increasingly important, because the last thing you want is to fill a client's property and that person wasn't properly vetted, and they may have unfortunately lost their main source of income, but you don't want someone to enter into the property that doesn't have the means to cover the rent amount, and then they're going to become a problem and have to go through eviction. So really important couple of things there to keep in mind, but definitely a really interesting time.
Yeah, absolutely interesting for sure. And let's think about the future for a second. If you could make one prediction about the market right now, what would it be?
Well, we're in a seller's market right now. There's not enough supply for the demand that's out there. And for rentals, it's kind of the same thing. There's not enough supply for the demand that's out there. I do see the supply increasing on rental properties and as well on listings. Some people have held their properties off the market because of the fear of having others do their home. So owner-occupied listings I see increasing, while the vacant ones right now are the ones that are flying off the shelf. Just easy, no contact access, no contact transaction, not worried about people coming into your home that you're in every day, et cetera. But as far as valuation, you want to talk values in the market, there's obviously going to be some type of a correction. Right now, supply is down, demand is up. So prices are actually even creeping up right now. Everything going under contract is at or above the listing price. It's that kind of market again. It's a feeding frenzy. So I do see that changing as there's more supply. Prices will soften a little bit more of a correction. I don't see it being a bubble bursting, but I do see a small market drop in value.
Yeah, and kind of in line with those corrections that we might be seeing soon, I think that the more efficiencies that we can build into our processes now, and also on top of that, the more that we can utilize the tools that we have to build a sustainable foundation or kind of an engine, so to speak, for generating and maintaining clients and business, that's going to be something that's going to help to stem the tide against any kind of correction that we see. So making sure that we're hyper-focused on establishing a really strong foundation is going to be something that's going to help for any kind of corrections that we might see.
Excellent. And we're just going to wrap up here with our last question. Again, future-based. So where do you see RentSpree and LoKation 5 years from now? Jonathan, you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, we envision making the realtor even more the center of the transaction, increasing consumer transparency. What I mean by that is a revolutionized back-end system for realtors to work from on their phone, on their tablet, on their computer, where everything is one click inside the same portal. At the same time, providing transparency to the consumers, a portal of resources and ability to see their transactions, see the progress of where they're going, be able to pull down documents like their contract or escrow, their escrow verifications, their closing documents after the fact, discounts for utility signups and movers and vendors, through kind of an all-in-one portal for both the realtor and the consumer themselves, keeping LoKation in front of them, keeping the information from their agent in front of them, and promoting more returning repeat business inside of LoKation, really showing the value proposition of why LoKation is the most important thing in real estate. See what I did there?
Yeah, I think like for 5 years from RentSpree, our goal has always really been to create a really super streamlined and standardized process. Again, like I've mentioned it before, but you see a lot of fragmented processes and just different agents doing different things. And not only does that create inefficiencies for the individual, but it creates inefficiencies for the real estate market at large. That makes it more difficult for agents to remain at the center of the transaction. And so our whole mantra is to create a standardized process that all agents can adopt, so that you're not having a renter apply and then someone else doesn't know what RentSpree is and won't accept the reports or something like that. So by having everyone kind of on the same page here and creating that standardized, universally accepted process, opens up the market a lot and makes sure that the realtor and the agent is at the center of that transaction. So we'd like to have a universally accepted standard rental process nationwide.
Love the ambition. It's excellent. That's what we're going for here. Well, yeah, those are all the questions I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for your time, Michael, Jonathan, and we'll look forward to the next time we chat.
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks for joining us today.
You got it.
Take care, guys.
Have a great week.